Any
Sure,
solution
sure.
like
Happy to
this
share.
for guests basically to measure their temperature, or we need to have thermal camera, thermal guns? Yes, oh yes, Mr. Khattar.
Ashish was saying
See,
something.
we, we are talking to, we are evaluating multiple products. We understand that these kind of technologies are very good, but they come with a price, no doubt about it. And during this time, and pandemic time, the cash flows are very controlled as of now. So what we thought is the two three things we were evaluating. We were still we still have to create a POC for this, proof of concept for this. Basically, we were trying to see, like, every hotel is already running cameras within their areas, like CCTV surveillance system is already running with some kind of, I agree with what Vinay has mentioned, with some kind of startup and all that, where we met few companies in past and they have suggested us, we can utilize similar kind of you are already spent capex to some kind of face recognition system where we use the existing cameras, and with some softwares and all the product we can utilize that. So we are in the process of evaluating this, definitely. And the other thing, what we are mentioning to these companies who are providing very high-end equipments and all that, we are in discussion with them, not finalized yet. Instead of making it capex expensive, heavy and all that, it should be something like opex point of view. Where you can, push the cost to a couple of years instead of paying upfront and all that. But yes, this kind of technology was there already. Let me tell you, it is nothing to do with COVID and all that. It was all there, but yes, COVID has triggered us to evaluate these kind of technologies a little better. That's what I can suggest. Face recognition, because we used to see, airport hotels and all, they are mandatory. They're doing this already, and this was basically for more like customer recognition and customer relationship at that time, or some security measures. But now this will be in a totally different manner altogether. Scanning of their body temperature, compliance scanning, that's what I'm trying to understand. This is like whether the person is wearing a mask in a proper manner or not, even that kind of scanning, or some kind of alert mechanism gonna come up with, but using the existing technology, existing spent what the hotels have done. This is like new innovation coming up from a lot of other companies, which we are evaluating their products as of now. And with respect to other options, what you suggested, expensive, like I think you mentioned mobile key or something like that. You know, these were all things were there. But yes, going forward, this will be one thing, which people will like to use, in a better way, so that you make it completely contactless. Thank you.
Many technologies were good to have earlier, but now they are must to have. One of the technology is related to voice, Alexa. If I'm in my room, I don't want to touch remotes, I don't want to touch telephone handsets. Do you feel that voice has big role to play? Because earlier things like Alexa, Google I Home were luxury, but now because guests will not like to touch anything which is commonly used, do you feel that voice enabled technology, artificial intelligence, chatbot will take some new role, and with time hotel industry will be using them quite extensively?
Ashish, unmute. Ashish, unmute.
Sorry, I was actually, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you,
Unmute.
Ashish.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
going to add something to the previous question, which was really about, there's so much technology like voice recognition, elevators and stuff, and how do we really purchase them or go to owners and stuff like that, right? I had a bit of a different mindset. So, in my opinion, I always put myself in the owner's shoes before we do any IT spend. And today we are unfortunately in a situation where let's be realistic, right? Owners probably don't even have the money to pay for staff salaries, and so is the hotel operators. So in that case, what I would really look at is really look at small nuggets, really low hanging fruits, technologies which are really light. And I didn't probably emphasize before, but simple things like QR code scanners, barcode scanners, F&B digital contactless menus and stuff like that. But what is more important in terms of temperatures, for example? Now, I took a very pragmatic view to that. Now, there's a lot of marketing around, contactless thermometers and infrared cameras and all that stuff. It's great, and like you rightly said, it already existed. But now if you think about it, your occupancy levels are not going to come to 80-90% in the next 6 months, right? It's a miracle if it comes back. And I personally am of a belief, I mean, if we look at the occupancy levels, you're probably looking at maybe 40-50% in the next 6 months or the next 12 months. So when you look at that, you can actually use a typical contactless digital thermometer and take the temperature. You're not going to have group check-ins coming in with 30 people at one time or anything. And if they come in, I don't necessarily think we have to invest in such a lot of money on technology, because clearly the owners don't have the money to pay for it. Neither as an operator you would be willing to put it as a OPEX item. Now, as we see this, the only thing, even if there is a lot of technology which we can use and there is something really great which makes relevance to the business, what I would typically do in such an instance is negotiate a contract which is really a short-term contract and which can be easily broken. Because I'm hoping that this COVID goes in the next 6-7 months. This is all history and we don't have to worry about it so much as we worry about it right now, because there's no vaccine and everything. And that should be the time when, even if we've invested in technology, there should be short-term contracts. So the vendor doesn't have to send you an expensive piece of equipment and he can already take it back if he's rented it to you. And the hotel doesn't have to continue to use that because he's purchased it and technically there is no use to it. That's my different perspective, unfortunately.
Okay.
I totally agree with Ashish on this point. I was about to say that because we need to negotiate. First of all, is it a requirement which will go for long, which is not there? Secondly, the cost which we are pinching on the only company capex, because there's no profit right now, there's no revenue at all which is going to come, and forecast is bad. So the thing is, we need to negotiate with the suppliers in a way where they help us in this moment of time, probably because they also need to invest in huge amount of technologies, and the money will be going back from the suppliers also. And so probably a contract can come in for next 6 months. They will not charge anything, maybe only the one-time cost, and after 6 months or a year, they'll start charging not an exorbitant price, but at least they cover their cost, and then we can have a long-term relationship, something like that. But today, asking owner to invest in such kind of huge technology and cost would be a crime.
Okay. Over to you, Hemant sir.
Yeah, thank you, Harish. I agree with Ashish and Nilesh. This is like a very tough time for everybody of us, and we all are working relentlessly. My say, I go with both gentlemen, is that we cannot push for these kind of technologies as of now to hotels with respect to, because one is we all should realize hospitality is, it is like personal touch you have to give it to. It's like you have to take care of your customers, employees. It's like, Atithi Devo Bhava, we say it, and it's everything it says at, starting till end. That, you cannot have simply mechanical touch and all time, no connect with the guest and all that. You need to have all those, but that also be in line. So, but yes, these kind of things can wait, because if we implement, because in a room, if you are implementing Alexa, these technologies are very good technologies at home, because you're only at home, you're using, okay, Alexa, run this song, run this movie or something like that. But in a hotel, you will tell Alexa to run the TV, switch on that channel, you switch on the AC with the thermostat at this level, see who is at the door. If I know that person, open it, otherwise don't open it. Something like that, which connects with the IoT and all that. But then you need to have a lot of spending going on with respect to make that room as a completely intelligent room. There's a huge investment, and I agree with both gentlemen. This is the future, but yes, at this time, let's get over with this, period. Let's start. We are already there. People are charged up. Business is coming back, and now once we are stable, and then definitely we can have a look at all these technologies in future. Thanks, Harish.
Seen any hotel using robots to clean the room or public areas during this pandemic?
Yep, can I take that?
Yes, Ashish.
So again, robots, I would say robots are probably the future in high labor markets. Like being in Singapore, I have actually, not Marriott brands, but I've seen a lot of brands of hotels who are actually started using robots. And this has been probably the last 2 years, they have already been using robots. Typically, we have seen robotic arms being used in Singapore in a lot of hotels, like the hotels and everything in Singapore, where a robotic arm would go and make a sunny side up egg for you. So in a morning breakfast, the egg station is one of the most, what you say, utilized or most time consumed operation there. So we've seen some hotels with 5 egg stations there, just robotic arms making eggs the way the guest wanted. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube as well if you go and take a look. So I think there's a definite need for robotics, especially in labor intensive and expensive markets like Singapore, Japan, Korea, and stuff like that. Now, the next thing which we have seen, and we actually have some vendors come and demo a robotic vacuum cleaner in our office in Singapore. A beautiful piece of technology. A lease model costs a few $100s a month. What it does is basically it checks your entire floor plan, because your hotel floors are typically the same. It would go and do a complete scan of your hotel floor, a particular floor, and then it would register it into the memory. And all you do is just send a robot to do its vacuum cleaning and cleaning off. A lot of these robots also have just not vacuum cleaners, but also you could actually have sweeping as well. So water capabilities where you can use water to clean the floors as well. Has sensors obviously to make sure the guests are not bumping into it and all that stuff. The beauty of that robotic which I saw was they actually have a hot swappable battery. So as the battery level of the robotic vacuum cleaner goes down, it will send an alert on an SMS to the housekeeping supervisor. And all the supervisor needs to go and take in another battery from the housekeeping department, come and plug in the battery and remove the old battery and put it back at place, and then go back to the supervisor, goes back and does what he needs to do. So these kind of technologies, I think they have a lot of meaning. If you just consider today a housekeeping supervisor or a housekeeping associate is spending hours and hours vacuuming the carpets on floor areas and stuff. So there's definitely future to that, but it needs to be an OpEx model wherein you don't have to invest a lot of money in it as an owner or even as an operator. Lease model would be definitely something the future would be in robotics. Simple stuff, but very effective.
Okay,
Yeah,
we have heard.
extend on what Ashish has said. No, I completely agree, and I think, and this is also related to the previous point. Whether basically there are a lot of technologies which are available, many of them are applicable, but at what price point we introduce to them, and what is the ROI on that? I think that is the real critical part of it. And while robotics is there, as Ashish has said, maybe like in India is not necessarily a market, at least in the near term, wherein the cost of labor is not so high, wherein the robots are relatively costly. However, where I see a lot of utility is Harish, you mentioned about IoT, and I think IoT has a lot more utility in India, and that's something we can look at. The sensors and the edge servers of today doesn't cost you much, and you can actually gather the data, run an analytics on top of it. Then actually you can be able to do a lot more. I mean, for example, energy management. It's a huge scope for you to implement IoT and energy management. Robotics, I will extend it to, let's say, AI. Not exactly a robot, but an artificial intelligence by which you can actually sift through the data, do mining, and find out and give a specialized, personalized offer to the customer. Yeah, that's definitely a utility of that. And some of those, we are actually doing POCs in some of these areas and trying to find out at what price point can we really bring it becomes a mass scale. Otherwise, there are many things which we try and we believe it's costlier than we don't pursue because it doesn't make sense to introduce. This is definitely not the time to introduce. But IoT and all, definitely we are trying out and trying. I personally believe, quite optimistic, that we will be able to make some of the good use cases of it.
Okay, great to hear about your different technologies which are related to guests. I want to know what we have done for our employees, for our business associates, in terms of social distancing, in terms of contactless. Have we done some innovation in that area?
Go for it.
Okay, Nilesh, please.
Yeah, so for our employees, Accor has actually launched a new comprehensive safety guideline and training program to ensure all employees worldwide have the skills and education necessary to protect themselves and our guests also. Online trainings, classroom training at each property has been mandated. self-declaration QR code solution, which I was discussing earlier, has been a part of this initiative. Work from home, multiple Accor Academy has been partnered with multiple learning partner skills like eCornell, LinkedIn Learning, Get Abstract to offer selected course to all our artists. Now, coming up to the contactless solutions, as I said, the QR code for health declaration form, scanning at the entry and exit. These are certain things which we are following strictly at the hotel and currently. And all safe label program, what has there's a certification which is carried down by Bureau Veritas. We are partnered with them, and there's a certification which goes around which takes care of about 200 SOPs, and that has been followed. And security hygiene officer has been selected, and also officer what we call per hotel, and they also take care about employees well-being and everything. So these are parts of initiative what we are following at our group right now. Mike. Harish, your mic is mute.
Please. Okay, in the interest of all the audience, I would also like to announce that STNG has done something great for employees. Many of our IT fraternity members are on furlough or they are working leave without pay. They have done an initiative where all these IT fraternity members can go to a website called as careers.stng.org. They can upload their CV, and a lot of vacancies are posted there. I think this will make this is a good initiative which will make life easy for a lot of hoteliers. Now, over to you, Mr. Hemant. You were saying something?
A couple of things. I second with Nilesh what he mentioned, and apart from that, I just want to suggest you that HAI Hotel Association of India has also signed up with Naukri.com now, with respect to all the employees, the ex-employees or people who does not have job and all that, they can apply there directly. As a RHG group, what we did, we were couple of things we did, like clustering of, as of now, we're trying to put more and more people, they have to come back to their, job stream and all that. So we are doing clustering, multi-skilling, a lot of training is going on, e-learning training and all going on for them. And what we did is Radisson Care and Radisson Thank You for all of our employees across the world. That means that we thanked our employees at this, time. They stood with us. They took care of our customer. They risked their lives. They're like COVID warrior for us. Let me tell you. Like hospitals, they are the basically front runners. They're on shop floor running day to day. All these things. So we did a lot of things for them. Radisson Care is one thing where we wanted to reach out to a lot of people, employees, families, people who do, laborers and all that, where we can feed them almost 60 lakh packets we have, given to people for people who really need it at that time and all. So there are a few things what we did for our employees, And the one last thing I'll talk about this point is that we are growing talent within our group only. We have made a practice first. The people who are working for Radisson Group will get a chance to work for Radisson Group, and then only we'll look for somebody else outside. So we are growing talent within our group so that they had helped us, they worked with us, they should get a better chance. But anyway, we are also taking people from outside in case that talent pool is not within additional talent pool with us. So we are looking outside. So that's it, Harish, from human point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may add, Harish, I wanted to share an interesting POC that we're currently doing for an employee, and I think this is primarily for the pandemic. What we are doing is primarily for social distancing and contact tracing. What we are experimenting with one of the startups again is having a wearable which the employees wear, and we can configure the social distance that they need to maintain. So based on that, if the two employees come within that particular distance, let's say 6 feet, their bands will vibrate and they will actually know, okay, they're following that, number one. So that's how we're managing the social distancing part of it. And using the same wearable, we're actually capturing the data in a cloud base and analyzing. And at the end of the day, we can actually, unfortunately, if any one of them has tested positive or has some issues, we can actually able to do the contact tracing about all the employees, others who he's come in contact with, because each one is wearing the band, and we are able to pinpoint who all are with there. We will able to do that. So these are again in the POC stage. Some of the results have been really encouraging, especially one of the interesting things. Most of the people have come back and say that that it forced them to maintain the social distance because otherwise the band will vibrate.
True, true. Agree. This is a great initiative. You're using startups to the core. It's very good. Basically, you're helping in cutting the cost and giving opportunity to the new startups. Actually, this is very good. We will like to connect with you later on this. Mr. Bhuvnesh, now we have few minutes left. Do you see that we have some time for question and answers? We have some questions on the
Yes, we
chat.
do. We do, but I'd like to know. Usually, people want to know from Ashish that what is it that Marriott is doing all over the world, especially his region, in terms of best IT practices which he has brought into India, which are not there in India,
So
or which
if
he
I
also
under-
thinks can be brought into India.
So best IT practices. So sure, fortunately I've been blessed with dealing with a lot of countries. So I've seen a lot of best practices in other countries. One of the things which really comes to my mind, and again, this is digital transformation, you can call it, which is a product which is, a vendor entry system. Today in the back office, if you see, you are stuck with a traditional security person who is going to fill in a chit for you and do what you need to do, pick up the phone, talk to whoever he needs to visit within the back office area, and then security will let him go, trace this person down and let this person go. So one of the technologies I actually saw in Australia, which we are piloting in Japan and Korea as well, and probably we'll do it in India as well, is it's not an expensive technology. It's probably about 40,000 rupees one-time cost. That's about it. But what it does is actually helps you. It has the ability. It's just an iPad, and it's an ability. It gives you the ability to actually get this vendor who's at the back office area or who is wanting to visit an associate within the hotel to scan his face, and it will immediately send a message in terms of SMS or WhatsApp, whatever you define, to the relevant party who this person needs to visit. And once this person gets an alert, he accepts the thing, he would actually get a digital QR scanned ID, which automatically becomes his ID with his photo on it. So gone are the days. I mean, with this technology, you can actually kind of get security, the loss prevention department, to focus really on what their core job is, keeping the hotel secure, rather than spending time in terms of doing all the paperwork and all that stuff. And then this visitor can go and visit the associate in the back of his area. Once it's done, this scanner will automatically detect that this person is out of the hotel. The associate gets an alert that your visitor has departed the hotel. So security, so it's a lot of times, because we see a lot of these visitors would wander around various departments talking to multiple people before they actually make their way out of the hotel. So that's a very interesting technology we've implemented in the Australia market, but definitely an opportunity for us to have something similar in the India market for sure. Then again, we've given some good opportunities to some startup companies in India on a global level. I wouldn't be taking names and promoting any vendor on this platform, but generally we can take it offline. We have some great product within India startup companies who are enabling us with contactless check-ins, with F&B, Paytm integration, everything that's happening there. And again, another one thing is paperless back office operations. It's something we developed in India. So this is something we are exporting out of India with this particular vendor. So your entire back office operation is going to be smooth and seamless. No more paperwork, your purchase requisition or anything on a paper. Everything is digitalized. So that's contactless and it's very cheap. It saves paper, it saves your printer toner and everything. So this is actually a technology made by one of the Indian companies. We are doing in pilots in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Japan as we speak right now, and Singapore as we speak. So it's two-way. So some good technology here and moving it there.
All right, excellent. So everybody has spoken. Harish hasn't told us anything about what he's doing. I mean, it's very nice to be a moderator. At times you but you don't get the time to share what
So
you've
we have
done.
also done something related to cost saving methods. Like Ashish mentioned, we have checked our internet lease line usage, our telephone line usage. We contacted all our PMS vendors, email server vendors. We pushed them hard, or we negotiated new rates with them depending on the usage. This is how we save money. Apart from all those things, we are also doing something going high tech and touchless. We are working with a PMS vendor who is developing various interfaces with PayU, your other things like your AirPay and InstaMojo, which are digital payment gateways. We are also trying to keep things simple. We believe in keep technology simple. Like Alexa and all those things will be used. I have not seen any hotel in India using voice enabled lifts, or pedal operated lifts are used only by one of the hotel chain. I think Vinay knows what I'm saying here. So we are trying to see, because we are bit market chain, cost is very important. We have to safeguard every rupee. All the wheels are falling. Business is not there. It is very easy to say that we can earn money from takeaway or by delivering food to home. But in our case, it is not happening so easily.
Excellent. So we've anything else anybody wants to say? Vinayji, Hemantji or Nilesh? You want to wrap it up? You want to close this?
Okay. I just want to list something here. Sorry,
Yeah, please, Harish, go ahead.
Okay. I've seen
Harish, go ahead.
hotels using game changer technologies like ultraviolet rays or nanotechnology. I heard that you spray this nanotechnology solution once and all these pathogens are away for 100 days. So I want to know from your experience if your chains are trying to explore something like ultraviolet for the guest rooms, where from the duct all these pathogens from the room, they are into the air, and with the help of ultraviolet we can clean the air. Is it happening in your hotels? Is it effective?
So maybe I can just chime in. Again, this is really more of an operations initiative, but Marriott as a company, we obviously have all these a huge checklist of sanitization that needs to happen, and obviously this is one of this. Now, one of the things with the nanotechnology spray that you said, which kind of is something that we have seen a lot of supermarkets, shopping malls, and even hotels being using it in Singapore. And basically the whole lift is coated with that, where it's a finger touch contact, so it really safe for you to touch it without worrying about COVID-19. So there is some stuff going on, but again, from an operations standpoint, we are doing a lot. Again, we've got a lot of promotions around it in terms of great videos on the Marriott Bonvoy platform as well, to just promote the business.
Okay, I think now it is time.
Vinay was saying something. Vinay was saying something.
No, I think I was only going to thank, I think, what Harish was saying, but now that you asked me the question, I think it's a great session. Like Bhunesh, I said, it is my first session with the BW, and I really enjoyed interacting with them. And it's not only the event, but also the way you actually form the groups, ensured that we come together, you ensured that we had introduced and connected with each other. I think it's a great experience, and I personally look forward to participating in many more such things.
So, thank you so much for that. That encourages us to do more, and I'm sure I'm so happy that your experience has been good. Well, ask me about my experience. My experience has been tremendous. I must tell you, tremendous. Absolutely delighted that I have been able to bring you all together on one show. Permit me, because I am going to be doing more in the IT space soon. Look forward to hearing from me. I only pray and hope you will all come in, right? Because this industry needs to hear experts like you who can bring in value, who can share their best practices. I think now is the time that we need to look beyond our geographies, our brand affiliations, and our personal preferences. I think we need to share our experiences and knowledge with all those people who are actually not able to get much. So you are being watched by a lot of people. and I'm sure this message will go far. Permit me to thank you, each one of you, for your time. I'll start with Nilesh. Nilesh, thank you so much for agreeing to be on our show. Hemant, I'm grateful to you. Right? Vinay, thank you so much for making it. Right? And Ashish, to come all the way. Well, these distances don't matter today in today's virtual day and age. But it makes it possible for us all to get together. Vinay is coming from Mumbai, you're coming from Singapore. The three of them are in Gurgaon and I'm here in Delhi. And our moderator is sitting in Bombay. Look at the wonder of technology which you people drive. I hope your experience was good on our technology platform and you didn't have any issues. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Abneesh.
Thank you very much.
I pray
Thank
you
you,
enjoyed it as I did. Harish, you've been a wonderful host. I shall give you 10 on 10. Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you
Thank
very
you all
much.
the
Stay
evidence
safe.
panelists for your time. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
audience, for hearing us so patiently.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Look forward to interact with you in person now this
Bye,
time.
Ashish.
Whenever
Stay
that
healthy,
happens.
stay safe. Thanks.
Yeah. Hemant, Nilesh, Harish. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye, Ashish.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
gentlemen.
Stay safe.
Thank you. Thanks, Bhavna.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.